In the stillness of the forest, where the wind whispers and fate lingers, a king loosed his arrow, and with it his destiny unraveled. Pandu, the ruler of Hastinapura, was cursed by a sage, never to touch his wives again, lest death claim him instantly. Beneath the shadow of that curse, two royal women, Kunti and Madri, lifted their eyes to the heavens, pleading to the gods. And the heavens answered, not born of lust and blood, but of mantras and divine grace. Thus were born the children of the sky, 5 celestial sons, born not of desire, but of prayer and destiny. They are the Pandavas, the radiant light of Bharata, descended from the heavens themselves. And this is where it all begins. A curse, a sacred mantra, and 5 divine sons, destined for a war that would shake the ages. Uncover the full story in this episode. The Mahabharata, Season 3, Episode 5. The divine birth of Pandavas and the death of Pandu.
If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to support us and stay connected with more engaging videos.
Once upon a time, in the era of Dwapara Yuga, the third age of the world's cycle of yugas, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga, in which humanity shows its first significant decline in righteousness. An age where morality and immorality coexist equally and spirituality is deteriorating. In this age, Krishna, an avatar of Vishnu, took birth to establish a dharma, divine truth or justice. He taught humanity vital lessons to expand their consciousness. He taught about dharma, responsibility, righteousness, devotion, the essence of life and fulfilling responsibility, without concern to the outcome, emphasizing unselfish conduct. He played a very important role in this era, where the great epic of Mahabharata taken place.
As narrated previously, one day King Pandu was out hunting. A sage and his wife were also sporting in the forest in the guise of deer. Pandu shot the male with an arrow, in ignorance of the fact that it was a sage in disguise. Stricken to death, the rishi thus cursed Pandu.
Sinner, you will meet with death the moment you taste the pleasures of the bed.
Pandu was heartbroken at this curse and retreated to the forest with his wives after entrusting his kingdom to Bhishma and Vidura, and lived there a life of perfect abstinence. Seeing that Pandu was desirous of offspring, which the rishi's curse had denied him, Maharani Kunti confided to him the story of divine mantra she had received from sage Durvasa. Quite happy, Pandu urged her to use this mantra. Before using the mantra, Maharani Kunti told him the story.
When I was a young girl, I used to wait upon guests and satisfy them to their heart's content. One day, a Brahmana named Durvasa came to my father's palace. By my kind services, I satisfied him, and he desired to grant me a boon. He bestowed upon me a sacred mantra by which I could call any god from the heavenly realms. He benedicted me, saying,
With this mantra you may call any god, and they will abide by your will. Any god you summon will give you children.
On your order, I shall petition any celestial being you wish. O foremost of all truthful men, tell me which of the divas I should summon.
Kunti's words delighted Pandu, and he joyfully replied,
O my beloved Kunti, invite the god of righteousness, the ruler of justice, Yamaraja. He is most pious and devoted to Lord Vishnu. Indeed, he will not pollute our dynasty with sin.
Kunti abided by Pandu's order and prepared to call the god Yamaraja. At this time, Gandhari had been pregnant for 1 whole year. Kunti repeated the incantation that sage Durvasa had imparted to her, and Yamaraja appeared. By him she conceived a child that was equal to the great Yamaraja himself. When the child was born, there was a celestial voice from the heavens that declared,
"This child will possess divine consciousness, and he will be the foremost of virtuous. He will become famous as one who rules by the will of God. Endowed with invincibility and truthful speech, he will become the emperor of this earth.
This first son of Pandu will be named Yudhishthira, and his fame shall be celebrated throughout the heavens." Pandu was overjoyed by the birth of such a pious son, and he again ordered Kunti,
The wise have declared that a king must be endowed with physical strength. Otherwise, he is no warrior. Therefore, call for Vayu, the mighty god of the wind.
Kunti then summoned the celestial being Vayu, and coming before her, the wind god inquired,
"O beautiful queen, please tell me why you have called me."
Smiling with modesty, she replied,
Please give me, O best of the celestials, a child endowed with superhuman strength and a robust body. Let him be capable of humbling the pride of everyone.
Vayu then conceived a child by her who was destined to become the strongest human on earth. When the child was born, a celestial voice announced,
This child shall be known as Pima, and by his physical prowess, he will conquer all men.
On this same day that Bhima took his birth, Duryodhana was also born from Gandhari. One day, shortly after Bhima's birth, Kunti was holding him in her lap. The child had just fallen asleep when suddenly a lion roared. Kunti rose, forgetful that the child was on her lap. The child fell down the mountainside and pulverized a large stone upon which he fell. The child was not hurt in the least, but Pandu was amazed at the sturdy body of his son. After the birth of Bhima, Pandu again began to think and talk to himself.
How can I obtain a supreme son who will be the best in all the worlds? This world depends on destiny and on human action. But as decreed, destiny is only obtained over a period of time. We have heard that Indra is the king and the best of the gods. He has immeasurable strength and endeavor, and he is valorous and unlimited in radiance. By pleasing him with austerities, I can obtain a son who is immensely strong. The son that he will give me will be the best. I shall therefore perform the greatest of austerities in mind, deeds, and speech.
He also told Kunti to practice austerities for 1 year, and he himself stood on one leg from morning till evening every day in rapt meditation, hoping to satisfy Indra, the king of heaven. Indra, being pleased with Pandu, appeared before him and said,
I will give you, O king, a child who will be celebrated for all time. He shall annihilate the impious and give joy to the virtuous. He will be a great devotee of the one supreme Lord.
King Pandu then called for Kunti and told her to summon Indra. Kunti, following the order of her husband, called Indra, and by him a child was born that was to be the intimate friend of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Upon the birth of this child, a celestial voice from the heavens announced,
This child shall be known as Arjuna. He will be equal in bowmanship to the great Kartavirya, and in prowess he will resemble Lord Shiva. Invincible in battle, he will propagate the fame of the Kuru dynasty far and wide. After acquiring all celestial weapons, he will retrieve the fortunes of your dynasty.
After these prophetic words were heard, kettle drums rolled, and the heavenly gods and rishis showered flowers on the earth. The celebrated Pandu was overjoyed and approached his wife aspiring for more children. However, before Pandu could speak, Kunti warned,
The wise do not sanction a fourth child, even in case of emergency. The woman who has intercourse with 4 different men is called a prostitute, and with the 5th, she is called a harlot. Therefore, O great king, because you are learned in the scriptures, please do not ask me again to bear children.
After the birth of Kunti's first 3 sons, and also the birth of 100 sons to Gandhari, Madri, the daughter of the Madra king, approached Pandu requesting,
O great king, I have no objection if you do not favor me. O sinless one, I also have no complaint that although I am senior to Kunti, I am inferior to her in position. I do not grieve when I hear that Gandhari has obtained 100 sons. This, however, is my great grief that while Kunti and I are equal, I am childless. If Kunti could teach me to have children in the same way that she had conceived these children, then I would be satisfied. Please ask her on my account.
Pandu then lovingly requested Kunti to teach the mantra to Madri so that she could also have children. Kunti readily agreed and told Madri,
Think of some gods you favor, and certainly by him you shall bear children.
Madri thought of the twin Asvini-Kumara gods, and within a matter of seconds they appeared before her. They gave her 2 children named Nakula and Sahadeva, who were unrivaled on earth for personal beauty and wisdom. As soon as they were born, a celestial voice proclaimed,
In prowess and beauty, these 2 children shall excel even the twin Asvins themselves.
Thus 5 children were born to Pandu, and the great king felt fully satisfied to see the good quality of his children. As they grew, they were favored by the great sages in that region.
King Pandu lived for many years in the forest with his wives and children. One day after the birth of his 5 sons, King Pandu was wandering about the woods with his wife Madri. It was springtime and the forest flowers were in bloom, casting their scent in all directions. Birds like the parrot, the cuckoo, the crane, and the peacock were singing sweetly, and the bees were humming. Bewildered by the atmosphere, Pandu became attracted to his wife, and forgetting the curse of the rishi, forcibly embraced her. Madri tried to resist the advances of her husband, but it was no use. Impelled by fate, the great king, overwhelmed by passion, ended his life trying to enjoy his beautiful wife. Embracing the dead body of her husband and weeping aloud, Madri called out for Kunti. Kunti heard her cries and came to where Madri lay with Pandu. Viewing the dead body of Pandu, Kunti fell to the ground, lamenting. She was overpowered by separation, and she chastised Madri repeatedly for not resisting the king. Madri related to her all that happened and how she tried to stop Pandu's advances. Kunti then decided,
I am the eldest wife, and therefore the religious right of sati belongs to me. You must now take care of the children and see that they are raised properly.
Kunti, it is me who should enter fire with our king. He approached me for enjoyment, and his desires being unfulfilled, ascended to the heavens. Therefore, I shall accompany him to Yamaraja's abode to satisfy him. If I survive, I shall certainly not be able to raise your children as if they were my own, but you, O Kunti, shall be able to raise my sons as if they were your own. Therefore, let my body be burnt with his.
Kunti reluctantly agreed to the proposal. With tearful eyes and sorrowful hearts, they built a funeral pyre and laid the dead body of Pandu upon it. As the body burned, Madri entered the flames and attained the same destination as her husband. Madri could not contain her sorrow since she felt that she was responsible for the death of the king. She burnt herself on the pyre of her husband, entreating Kunti to remain and be a mother to her doubly orphaned children. The sages of the forest took the bereaved and grief-stricken Kunti and the Pandavas to Hastinapura and entrusted them to Bhishma. Yudhishthira was about 16 years old at that time when the sages came to Hastinapura and reported the death of Pandu in the forest. The whole kingdom was plunged in sorrow. Vidura, Bhishma, sage Vyasa, Dhritarashtra, and others performed the funeral rites. All the people in the kingdom lamented as at personal loss. Sage Vyasa said to Satyavati, his beloved mother,
"The past has gone by pleasantly, but the future has many sorrows in store. The world has passed its youth like a happy dream, and it is now entering on disillusionment, sin, sorrow, and suffering. Time is inexorable. You need not wait to see the miseries and misfortunes that will befall this race. It will be good for you to leave the city and spend the rest of your days in a hermitage in the forest."
Satyavati agreed and went to the forest with Ambika and Ambalika. These three aged queens passed through holy asceticism to the higher regions of bliss and spared themselves the sorrows of their children.
In the next episode, a tale of a mother who is heavily pregnant and desperately awaiting the birth of her children. She bore the pregnancy for 2 years without delivering. She was shocked when knowing she gave birth to a piece of flesh that was hard like an iron ball. The sage's divine power transformed the piece of flesh into many children, followed by the sign of the universe, that these children will bring downfall to Bharata's dynasty. Let us continue to embark on a journey through time to explore the origins of this timeless epic. The story of mankind, the story of Dharma.
Whenever there is a decline in righteousness and an increase in sinfulness, O descendant of Mahabharata, at that time I manifest myself on earth to protect the righteous, to annihilate the wicked, and to re-establish the principles of Dharma. I appear on this earth, age after age. Weapons cannot shred the soul, nor can fire burn it. Water cannot wet it, nor can the wind dry it. All the best among warriors fight for the sake of Duvi, treating alike happiness and distress, loss and gains, victory and defeat. Fulfilling your responsibility, in this way you will never incur sense.